What's up, you guys? Welcome to Elevate Your Wealth, where every week in 5 minutes or less, you're going to get financial education, tips, and strategies that will help you to level up in your life. So, my question for you is, do you have 5 minutes? Because if you do, it has the power to change your life. I'm Ashley Castle Pittman, and let's dive in. We've talked about a budgeting framework and establishing an emergency savings account or a cushion, and also where to keep that account to get the most growth. So another question that I get a lot is it possible to invest at the same time that I'm building my emergency savings account? And the answer is yes. You don't have to necessarily only build your emergency savings account and totally neglect investing, but it really is a case-by-case basis, like so many things in finance, because there's a lot of factors that come into play. So here's what I mean by that. For example, let's say if you have an employer-based plan through your work, a 401k, and you are getting an employer match. So in this case, maybe you get a 5% match. So if you contribute up to 5%, you're going to have that totally matched by your company, which that's 100% return on your money straight away. So that would be a great idea. In my opinion, I always recommend taking advantage of an employer-based plan when you do get a match. Now, if you have a 401k available and you're not getting a match, personally, I would recommend getting that emergency savings account totally put in place first, because you're just essentially putting in your money. You're not getting any free money associated with that. So I'd rather see someone build up their emergency savings account first. The next question to ask is, how liquid is whatever investment that you're looking to put money into? So for example, if you put it into a taxable stock market account, where essentially what I mean by taxable, and we'll talk about this more, is every year whatever gains you potentially have are going to be taxed. That money is liquid and you could access that at any time. But if it's in a different kind of an account, like a traditional IRA or something that's tax deferred, then there are going to be penalties associated for accessing that money early. So in that case, you would definitely want to make sure to have that 3 to 6 months of emergency fund established before maybe you start putting money in places where it's going to be tied up, or in order to access it, you might have some penalties and fees. A lot of people, of course, are interested in investing in real estate, which I personally have some real estate investments. I think it's a great idea, but with something like that, it's obviously highly illiquid and not so easy to just immediately get out of. So for example, I've seen someone who really wanted to get into real estate, but they didn't have an emergency savings account established first. And so the real estate that was purchased for the case of short-term rentals ended up having a lot more expenses than what they thought. And it also ended up getting way fewer bookings. And so it wasn't bringing in the revenue that was anticipated. So in that case, without an emergency savings account, this particular person ended up getting into a pinch and needed to liquidate that real estate at a loss. And it didn't end up being a great investment. So with certain investments that aren't as liquid, where you can't just access the money easily, in that case, I definitely would recommend building an emergency savings account first, because obviously if you run into the issue where you don't have the cushion built and then you're out of money, you could really get in a bind in that case. It's also really important to be building tax-free assets. So things like a Roth IRA, if you qualify, a Roth 401k, or something that you may not know about called a LIRP, which is a life insurance retirement plan. I'll be getting into all of that, as well as in future videos, some of the differences between taxable accounts, tax-deferred accounts, and tax-free accounts. Thanks for tuning in to this session of Elevate Your Wealth, you guys, and I will see you next week. Have a good one.